Welcome. We are Soul Warriors,
Ascension Preppers.
I'm Dr. Shelley.
And I'm Kumar. And the reason we say Soul Warriors, Ascension Preppers, the name of our retreat is Soul Warriors Retreat. So that's what we refer to as Soul Warriors. And what we do in our retreat essentially is help people prep for their ascension.
Ascension into their higher self and higher frequencies. A little bit about my path. I am a chiropractor and I had 4 practices in 3 different countries, and I hit burnout every single time. Not because I couldn't keep my practice full, but rather because I knew there was more possible for my patients' healing. I also hit burnout in my own healing journey because I was trying numerous modalities and nothing seemed to work. The same traumas, triggers, and wounds kept showing up over and over again. As a chiropractor, the philosophy is the power that made the body heals the body. Now, while I was adjusting my patients' spines to remove the interference in their nervous system for their life force energy to flow, allowing the power that made their body, their life force, to heal their body, I always knew there was more. What if I can guide my patients to the root cause of their pain and symptoms, rather than just merely removing the interference and allowing whatever life force they have awake to flow? And what I felt in my chiropractic practices is that people were disembodied. Their nervous systems were stuck in a chronic state of fight, flight, freeze. The root cause of their sciatica, neck pain, or back pain was not what they did yesterday, nor that accident from 10 years ago, nor that childhood fall. It went further back to all of their deepest traumas and wounds, not just theirs, but that of their ancestors. So in my journey of meeting burnout, knowing more was possible, but what, I decided to give away my practice and pursue my higher path, which was my healing journey, the healing journey that we are on, and the healing journey that led to us giving birth to Soul Warriors.
And this documentary that we're introducing you to. So I'm Kumar, grew up as a sugarcane farmer in the Caribbean, poor family, but also raised in a very strict Hindu home where my father's lineage was of the priesthood. So his father was a priest and his father before that. And my mother's lineage, well, for her, she was what you would consider a holistic healer. I walked away from all of that. I studied Islam for 5 years, Christianity for 3 years, raised as a Hindu, as I said. And although my mother wanted me to follow this path, I chose instead to go down the corporate world. So I migrated to Canada and then eventually to the United States, did the corporate world for 25 years, got a very successful career, trained as a massage therapist, as a body worker, as a coach, as face reader, toe reader, so many different holistic modalities. So I always knew that there was a pulling back towards this pathway. So about 10 years ago, I just hit eject from the corporate world and decided with my wonderful wife to pursue this pathway of self-healing. The only reason that we decided to open a retreat center is because we started realizing that within ourselves, we had done every modality that was available to people.
Spent thousands of dollars.
Literally years and thousands of dollars, only to realize that, wait a minute, I'm still having the same triggers. I'm still having the same issues. I'm still having the same traumas, which is really the triggers that set off the trauma. My body is still in pain. I'm seeing a chiropractor before I even married one, just to make sure that I got work on my body, competed in fitness, competed in all these different things, but there wasn't still a sense of fulfillment. So when we decided to walk away from all of it, living in exotic places, hit all the check marks for what you would consider to be successful, especially me coming from a poor sugarcane family, we decided that, let's go down our own path, because every course that we had taken, every accreditation that we have taken, every guru that we sought out, every shaman that we sought out, none of them was giving us what it is that we thought that we needed. We felt that we needed. So what we decided to do is drawing our own healing pathway, we chose to move a couple times until we found the perfect place for us to call home, which is where we are right now. And looking at our lives and our healing, which we do every single day, committing our lives, we ejected out of what you would consider the matrix, and we have committed ourselves. We live what's called a brahmacharya life. If you don't know what that is, please look it up. And we have dedicated 3 to 5 hours every single day to do nothing more than healing. This is our commitment to ourselves. We've been doing this now for a few years. And in our healing and in our remembering, because this is one of the things that we teach people, that we help people remember. We don't teach anything. We help people remember that you're your own guru, you're your own shaman, you're your own healer. Nobody can do that for you. In our bodies, there's our innate ability to heal ourselves. And this philosophy is what we have brought into our retreat, where we work one-on-one. We don't do groups. And if we do, it's for special things that we'll do groups, but most of what we offer is one-on-one or couples who are wanting to create sacred union and heal as a couple. And my wife does offer certain groups for certain different work.
Well, the group ceremonies are guided ceremonies. One of the reasons that we were looking for something, what we were looking for is our higher self, but we were looking externally for guidance. So even when we approached the plant medicine world, I immediately saw how easy it would be for me to fall back into the same pattern in my chiropractic career that was going to leave me burnt out yet again, where my patients returned over and over again with the same pain. And I saw this in the plant medicine world, and I said, no, this is not for me. There has to be more than just returning to ayahuasca 25 times.
Or psilocybin, or whatever DMT psychedelic that you choose.
And it was through working with these sacred plant medicines, which, by the way, do not heal you either. They merely assist your body's own power, that life force energy, to heal yourself. And one of the things that I realized is that if we do not go into our body, which between the mind and body, the mind is masculine, the body is feminine. If we do not go into the body and heal the traumas where they are stored in the body, we can consume as much plant medicine as we desire, but we're not receiving any real healing because we are not healing the traumas that keep us disconnected, disembodied, disassociated, living with our mind and body divorced, living in a state of delusion, living with dis-ease or disease, keeping us disconnected from divine union.
And how do we know this? We actually wrote a book about this. It's a 660-page manual.
The book I spent 20 years looking for externally.
Which talks about exactly what my wife spoke about, which is we are our own healers. All our traumas are stored in our body. Epigenetics, neuroscience, all of these science proves what we're talking about. This is not hairy-fairy spiritual talk. All trauma. She's not the first doctor to write about this. There's several beautiful books out there. Body Keeps a Score is one of my favorites.
Absolutely.
So there are many doctors whose specialty, like my wife, is pain and trauma, who wrote about the fact that trauma cannot be healed from the mind, it has to be healed from the body. So if you are, most of us, 99% of the population, are living in what's called the reptilian brain. And if we are not moving from our reptilian brain to our midbrain to eventually our divine mind, which is our higher consciousness, and again, science teaches us that our brains are cut into 3 different sections, not literally cut, but scientifically cut in 3 different sections. Anything we do, our healing, medicine, plant medicine, psychedelics, anything we do, we are doing it from the reptilian brain, our fight, flight, and freeze.
Our trauma self.
So we are having those experiences from our trauma selves.
Which is why all of the modalities we did for 20 plus years didn't work.
I'm not saying it doesn't work, it didn't work for us.
Because we couldn't get past the reptilian brain or the trauma selves created by the ego.
And this is what the practice we have created is all centered on one of the oldest philosophies in the world. Sanatan Dharma is the original source of all healing. So they have left us whatever's remained, because 80% of what they wrote about has been destroyed, but the 20% that's remaining still points to the fact that all healing, self-discipline, self-mastery is the key to higher consciousness.
And in order to ascend, we have to descend into our body in order to ascend.
So in case you're asking yourself, so maybe I don't need healing.
Maybe I don't have traumas.
Yeah, we all need healing. What are we healing? Well, like you said, traumas. You may have grown up in a perfect home with loving parents who did a ritual at your birth, at your conception, and who did rituals and who are perfect in every way. You still have trauma because you are not living in a bubble. You still have to go into school where there's going to be traumas, you're going to experience different things. But on top of that, we also, epigenetics teaches us that our traumas are also passed along in our DNA from all of our ancestors.
And to put that in perspective, just a mere 300 to 500 years of ancestors is 13 generations. That equates to 16,382 ancestors.
Whose traumas that were unhealed were passed on to you.
And they remain in our DNA until someone comes along, raises their hand, and says, this trauma ends with me.
That's what we're doing. And so, what are we healing? We are healing the war.
The internal war that creates the mind-body split, which is the greatest epidemic of all on the planet. We all are living disconnected. Our mind and body are not in union. They're divorced.
Then we have external forces who are also waging a war on our consciousness. They're waging a war on our freedom.
On our sexuality,
which
is our gateway to our divinity.
Absolutely.
War stands for waging against righteousness. Righteousness being defined as coming into oneness with God and Goddess. Because if we look at reality as is, we are constantly looking external to fill a void within us. We are praying to an external God and Goddess because we have fallen from divinity and forgotten that we are God and Goddess. Except we don't earn that title until our God and Goddess is embodied.
Well, so I will add to that the only way we can earn that title is when we get into the divine mind. You cannot claim that God and Goddess from the reptilian brain because that is your ego/trauma. So with the war, there is at least 150 armed conflicts every single year on this planet. So what we're experiencing right now around the planet, you see what's going on in Europe, you see what's going on in the Middle East. All of this is also reflected internally into you. So it is part of our collective reality.
And we contribute to the collective reality.
Absolutely.
To heal the external reality of war, we first have to go internally and heal the inner war.
We are at war with ourselves.
Look how easy it is to become defensive and to fight your loved ones. The need to fight to be right is greater than the need to be free.
So, why have we decided to do this documentary? Well, we have a young soldier, like I said, who left Israel a few years ago, and he was so traumatized by his experience of what he was forced to do. His moral compass said something different than what he was programmed by religion, by society, of what he should be doing in defense of something that he was lied to be told. So he has been working with us for over a year and slowly breaking out of the programming, since he had experienced for himself what all of us experience, that there is a mind-body split. When our mind and body is disembodied, what happens, my love?
Well, we live in a chronic state of fight, flight, freeze, pain and symptoms, blockages in our life, triggers in our relationships will rise to the surface to get our attention. So all pain, all suffering, all disease is nothing more than the result of unhealed traumas, specifically PTSD.
Absolutely.
Which is a result of extreme trauma.
So this brave young man is suffering from PTSD, and my hat's off to him. He has decided that he's done fighting this internal war. He's not happy. He can't just be comfortable. And we all have this internal war. Yes, he had his experiences. Yes, he was programmed. Yes, he can see the programming now. But all of us have an internal war. And as long as we have an internal war within us, we are contributing to the external war. So this documentary now will go through his stages of healing. He was here for 6 or 7 days because this is what our practice goes through. The way we do it is a staged. Everything we do, it's not simply giving you medicine and just leaving you alone. This is one of the reasons that we choose to work one-on-one with individuals. Why we're doing this documentary? We're hoping with the purpose of this documentary to show what this brave soul have decided to heal, and you'll hear more from him. We are also going to take you through the stages of his healing, his 3 days of purging, whatever it is, and you can explain that better, and then the different process that we took him through to, again, this is not a come for a week and you're fantastically healed. We know that this 1 week with us broke his mold.
And it's a somatic plant medicine retreat. It is not a plant medicine retreat in which, as you said, we serve you medicine and you lay back and journey. He was guided into his body to feel the pain of these traumas and wounds,
and where it was
so that he could heal
Absolutely.
The pain and stories of these traumas and wounds.
So when you hear about a retreat, and you will see some of it, yeah, can it be scary? Absolutely.
Oh, of course.
It is the toughest thing, and we can't tell you. Every one of our clients will tell you the same thing. A retreat with us has got to be, I don't care if you're a Navy SEALs, if you've been in the Marines, if you've been a firefighter, police officer, you've done ice bath, Wim Hof, triathlon, you do whatever you want. I guarantee you, come spend a week with us. And it will be meeting you and meeting your limits within your body and mind will be the hardest challenge that you will ever experience in your life. So our goal is to show the progression of this beautiful soul coming in fractured and lost and leaving at least with his eyes opening, going, oh my God, I have been asleep for all of my life. I have been believing in a God that is external of me. And as my wife said, God is you. You are a living God. But in order to make that claim, you have to move from a fight, flight, freeze reptilian brain to, which is part of the somatic period, where we push you into your body so you can meet your limitations deep in medicine, to your midbrain, and then with enough practice every day on your own, you move from midbrain to your God self.
So why is now the time to heal?
A lot of what we talk is also based on research, historical research, going back to Sanatan Dharma, going back to Native American, but going back to all ancient cultures that talked about that every 12,000 years, the world, the planet, the galaxy goes through a change. We are in that 12,000 year period. Hopi Indians, Native Americans, Mayans, and other cultures, Sanatan Dharma talks about a time, especially in Native American culture, where the white buffalo will show up. She showed up last year. And it's not a white buffalo in captivity that has happened before. It's a free-roaming white buffalo. So at this time, we are now in a period where few things are happening at once. We're in a 12,000 year solar cycle, which means that all the frequencies of the sun are exploding. So every 11 years, there is either a solar maximum or a solar minimum. We are in a solar maximum. What makes this solar maximum different from all past solar cycles is that we are also in conjunction with a 12,000 year cycle, and then there's also a 24,000 year cycle.
Not to mention the ionosphere is at the weakest point that it's ever been.
And it doesn't help that geoengineering has made it weaker than it normally is. So there are high frequencies that are coming in right now, which ties in perfectly with what ancient spiritual teachings talked about, that there will be a time when humanity gets to make a choice. The Hopi Indians explained it best, that they show two patterns where we can stay connected to this material world in this 3D devolution that we're living in, with wars and greed and a disconnection from our higher consciousness, or we can, and it's an individual choice, where we can choose during this time of cosmic radiation, signs coming in like the white buffalo, where we can make a choice of healing generational trauma that nobody has ever been able to do. None of our ancestors has this opportunity. So we were created just for this. Vedic literature, which is the oldest history of astrology out there, Vedic astrology talks about the time when these planets are lined up, that the way they are right now, and especially with this solar eclipse that we're having, where major change is going to happen. So there is a split. There is a physical split. You can see in the world what's going on right now, that you are seeing the global north and the global south. You're seeing the Western countries being divided from the BRICS nation. So there is a physical split of countries. There's also a monetary split. The fiat currency is devolving as new currencies step up. Then there is the spiritual split of where we are right now, where you make a choice of either you want to heal and move into your higher consciousness,
The evolving timeline,
or stay in the devolving timeline and
rooted in fear. And this timeline split is causing an organic separation. For eons, we have been averse to any form of separation simply because we have witnessed separation and the wars that are a result of separation amongst people who believe in a different religion, separation amongst different cultures, separation even among families. And it began during COVID, vaccinated versus unvaccinated. So this is birthing a natural organic separation that if you choose to evolve, yet you're holding on to things, people, traumas that are vibrating at a lower frequency, unfortunately, that will prevent or halt your ascension journey. Because right now, with these incoming solar flares, we have an advantage to heal. We have an advantage that prior ascended masters did not have. And for them to ascend, they had to put in the work. Just like now, this ascension journey, as all of these ancient cultures prophesied about, it is an individual choice. Work is required because as these high frequency energies are flowing into Mother Earth, they are impacting all life forms. So every human, every plant, and every animal is receiving these energies that are high frequency. We have not been vibrating at this high frequency in so long. So when our physical bodies receive these higher frequencies from the solar flares, the CMEs, the fluctuations in the Schumann resonance, all of our stored traumas that are unhealed, which vibrate at a lower frequency, they are going to implode into ascension pain and symptoms, as well as emotional outbursts. So just as there are 70 plus volcanoes erupting on Mother Earth, which is the macro reflection, the micro reflection is what is going on internally in our body. Our emotions, our traumas, all of our suppressed wounds, they are erupting. Triggers are showing up. People are getting more and more triggered at the slightest of things. And as ascension preppers, that's where we offer you a go-to practice to be able to navigate these turbulent times with ease and less ascension pain and symptoms.
Now, what we have to understand is this, we have now left the solar flare-up portion of our sun cycle, and we are now into what's called the coronal mass injection period, where it's in the dark spots of the sun that are ejecting frequencies. Quantum physics teaches us that we are all frequencies. That's all we are. We're energy. This 3D reality, if you stir it down to a molecular level, we are nothing more than vibrational frequencies. So as these frequencies are coming in from the sun, as they're coming in, they're affecting us. Like my wife said, they're affecting our emotions, they're affecting our B vitamins, they're affecting our heart rate. Even the Schumann resonance is being affected by these solar storms that are coming in. So, as she said, all the low frequencies or high frequencies, but you can't fake the high. This is not one of those times where you're going to fake it till you make it. This is all your frequencies, whatever your dominant frequency is going to be expanded. So if you're living in a place of poverty consciousness, anger, frustration, not being seen or heard, all the traumas, that's also going to be exploded.
And how do you be a higher frequency? Well, you actually have to tune yourself to that higher frequency, which is the work. Your pain body, from all of these unhealed traumas, which is stored in the fascia, it creates restrictions. It feels like a straitjacket. How can we vibrate at a frequency of unconditional love or authenticity, which is 4,000 times that of unconditional love, when we have lower frequencies such as shame, guilt, anger, that list that you just went through? How do we just bypass all those lower frequencies? Because as long as they're stored in our body, the story of those emotions and traumas are stored in the mind. Therefore, that becomes our dominant frequency. So how can we just be a frequency of unconditional love with all of those lower frequencies left unhealed in our body and mind?
Which means that, like my wife says, all of our trauma is stored in our bodies. So we have to change the frequency of our bodies by actually physically doing something. This is the reason that we offer, and we call it a somatic plant medicine retreat. Somatic meaning what, my love?
Body. We guide you into your body where all of the unhealed traumas are stored. If you have done plant medicine or are choosing a facilitator for a plant medicine ceremony, are they guiding you into your body where all of your unhealed traumas are stored? Because if not, then you're just journeying with the plant medicine from where, my love?
Your reptilian brain. And that's what we, again, an observation of we live in Latin America, we've been to several retreats, we've been to several shamans, so we see how the medicine is being served, whether it's psilocybin, whether it's LSD, any kind of psychedelic, ayahuasca, yahe, bufo. They're all being served. You're not guided into your body. You're just journeying from the reptilian brain. So all the awarenesses you're getting is coming from the reptilian brain, which is the where the trauma/ego lives. So.
And what do those awarenesses, insights, or visions do for your healing? Because I can say I could go to a plant medicine ceremony, have an awareness, and then return home and revert right back into my trauma self-behaviors and patterns that are a result of the unhealed traumas that I did not heal in my body from that plant medicine ceremony.
The frequencies, the changes that are going on, the signs that all ancient cultures have told us, all the yogis have said the same thing. In order for us to achieve our higher consciousness, self-mastery is the key. So if you're not going into your body, you are not doing any healing. Like Shelley says, you're only doing it from where the mind has stored the file of whatever trauma it is. If you're not addressing the body, if you're not going into the body, you're not healing.
And that's why all of our years of doing numerous modalities,
you name it, we've done it.
They didn't work for us because we could not get out of our reptilian brain into our midbrain and eventually our higher mind. We couldn't get past our ego's armor. And that's where plant medicine has been the missing link for us. It is a key that helps us to access our higher consciousness while we are making that shift into our body and healing the traumas.
And it's not so much that we couldn't get into it, into the brain, into the midbrain. We were never guided.
Absolutely.
Nobody in none of the works that I have done, NLP, face reading, all the myriad of modalities, reflexology, you name it, nobody guided us into, hey, this is what you need to do. Again, the Sanatan Dharma package that the yogis practice and the monks continue to practice to today, it's self-mastery. So you have to master the body and the mind in order for you to start making your transition.
And this is important right now because we have a window of opportunity over the next 2 years. The height of this solar cycle is ending in 2027. So we have a 2-year window to exponentialize any healing that we do. The other important thing is that all yogis and monks invested in work in order to ascend, in order to purify their body and all of their energetic highways for their life force to flow, in order for Kundalini to awaken. Now, there's a lot of talk about Kundalini awakening out there. There's a lot of spiritual traps and Kundalini illusions. But one of the most important things is that every solar flare, every coronal mass ejection, every fluctuation in the Schumann resonance is creating a Kundalini awakening for all of humanity. Now, the issue here is if your nervous system is stuck in a state of fight, flight, freeze, the longest nerve in your body, which is through which all of those fight, flight, freeze messages flow through, those fight, flight, freeze messages are like traffic jams or blockades along the highway. So when Kundalini awakens from a solar flare, the first blockage it runs into is going to implode into pain and symptoms. Those with spontaneous Kundalini awakenings have ended up in insane asylums because their body was not purified and prepared for Kundalini to awaken.
And their minds are not prepared for that kind of energy.
And this is what is coming over the next 2 years is Kundalini awakening after Kundalini awakening. So now is the time to start preparing your body and mind for Kundalini awakening.
And how do you know that your Kundalini is awakening? You're not just going to sit around and do nothing and feel it. You actually have to put in some work in order for you to experience it.
Nor can it awaken in a weekend seminar.
No, absolutely
That's why
not.
it takes yogis 7 years to purify their body.
So this is why we're encouraging you to, if you've been kicking the can down the road and saying, I'm not ready, and have a million excuses of why you don't want to heal, you're not just healing for you, you're healing for your children, your great-grandchildren, 7 generations before you, 13 generations behind, according to all ancient readings that we have looked into.
As a chiropractor, I learned that thoughts, traumas, and toxins, the 3 big T's, are the root cause of subluxations or misalignments in the spine that creates interference in the messages flowing between the brain and body. Except as a chiropractor, I did not learn how to address traumas. Now, after being on my healing journey, I can boil that down to one big T. That big T is trauma, because thoughts are connected to feelings and emotions in the body from unhealed traumas. Toxins create a traumatic experience for the body by throwing off your inner chemistry. And traumas also create an internal toxic environment, excess cortisol, excess false dopamine highs. So as long as there is an imbalance in your inner chemistry, your body is living in a toxic environment, which is traumatic, which is also created by traumas. So all subluxations can be boiled down to trauma, because traumas are stored in the fascia. And as long as the fascia is restricted, which a doctor has actually proven that restricted fascia is the leading cause of death.
And disease.
Because unhealed traumas physically manifest as pain, symptoms, every single disease. The root cause is trauma. Let's talk about traumas. Traumas come in all shapes and sizes. There are big traumas, which are life experiences in which your mind and body cannot fully integrate the experience in that moment. So it gets stored in your body as pain, and it gets stored in your mind as the story of what happened during the trauma. Big traumas are everything from birth trauma, abandonment by your parents, bullying during school, car accidents, the loss of a loved one, a divorce, war. Small traumas are repeat traumas. They are the daily stressors, the constant negative self-talk, the self-judgment that is on repeat, the constant worrying, frustration, the go, 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 do, do, do. So then there is also the replaying of traumas, which in and of itself is a trauma. It is when a trauma is stuck and the story of it is on repeat. And every time you tell that story, every time that trauma gets triggered through a smell, an action, a song, a memory, someone saying something, guess what? Your body is experiencing the trauma as though it's occurring in the now. At the time of trauma, your life force energy, which is found in your pelvis, your womb or hara to be exact, which is the reservoir of your life force energy, will rise upwards to inform your brain, hey, Houston, we have a problem. Except trauma after trauma, your life force energy starts getting stuck in your diaphragm, literally keeping your diaphragm frozen in place, which is what leads to traumatic breathing, where we breathe 15 to 19 times per minute, only from the upper 1/3 of our lungs, because our diaphragm is stuck. It is inflexible. It can't move up and down, because at the time of trauma, when our life force tried to inform our brain, trauma, it got stuck at our diaphragm. So now that the brain did not receive the message from the body informing it of trauma, the left brain says, okay, I need to find a solution for this trauma. The right brain says, we just need to feel the trauma and heal it in a loving and compassionate container. The left brain says, yes, but I can't hear you, right brain. I can't feel the trauma. And the messages that the body is sending to the right brain are not getting through the diaphragm. So the left brain is without all of the details, without all of the information from the body about what happened and what was felt at the impact, at the site of impact of trauma. So what does the left brain do? The left brain creates and finds solutions through coping mechanisms, defense systems, addictions, different ways and vices to check out of the body to avoid feeling the pain of trauma. Meanwhile, the pain of trauma is stored in the body, and the story of trauma is stored in the mind. Now, in the body, trauma is stored in the fascia. The fascia is a saran wrap-like connective tissue that not only covers your body from head to toe, but covers every cell, tissue, organ, bone, nerve. And it is never ending. When your fascia begins, it flows through your entire body, through every nerve, cell, tissue, and organ, uninterrupted. Neuroscientists have actually claimed that the fascia is the pathway of consciousness in the body. The fascia is also the sacred record keeper of every memory of your soul, not just from this lifetime, but also from past lifetimes, lifetimes of your ancestors, as well as collective traumas. What happens to your soul at the time of trauma? Well, trauma is felt in the body. So at the site of impact, your soul or higher self flees from the scene to avoid feeling the full impact of pain. What this causes is a disconnection from that part of your soul. This is called soul loss. However, you can never truly lose your soul. What you lose is connection to your soul. So as long as that trauma is left unhealed in your fascia, it leads to restrictions and distortions in your fascia. Your fascia communicates to your nervous system, danger, danger, trauma, fear. And that is what sends messages of fight, flight, freeze through your vagus nerve to your brain, alerting your brain, Houston, we have a problem. Except due to the mind-body split, these messages are not getting through to find a real solution. Unfortunately, due to the mind-body split, the mind and body are divorced. So these messages are arriving with a lot of static, with a lot of interference. And the body is not receiving the message of how to heal these traumas. So as long as the mind and body are disconnected, the soul remains disembodied. You also tend to disassociate to avoid feeling the impact of that trauma through the pain that is stored in the body. Soul loss is one of the most overlooked causes of pain, suffering, dis-ease, addictions, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, among numerous other ailments. And what happens is at the site of trauma in the body, where that aspect of your soul disconnected, that part of your body is left with a void. And that void is what people are seeking to fill with external things, with food, with sex, with porn, with alcohol, with plant medicine, with relationships, codependency, gambling, retail therapy, social media. Any false high tricks you into thinking that you're filling that void within your body, except the only thing that can fill that void is a reconnection with your higher self. Well, how do you reconnect with your higher self, the part of you that you lost during trauma? You have to heal those traumas. Due to soul loss and the void that remains, your ego, which stands for edging God and goddess out, has to create a false self called a trauma self. This trauma self is a replacement for the aspect of your higher self that fled from the scene of trauma. And this trauma self comes with its own set of trauma reactions, behaviors, patterns, defense systems, coping mechanisms, and addictions. Every trauma self, the caveat is the trauma self created by the ego never drops below the head into the body. So the body is full of voids created by trauma, and the subconscious and unconscious minds are full of files containing the stories of what occurred during those traumas. Trauma keeps your mind-body-soul complex divorced and stuck in a lower frequency. When you heal trauma, you upgrade your mind-body-soul complex to a state of relaxation, peace, joy, harmony, divine union, unconditional love, and authenticity. When you heal these traumas that are stored in your fascia, you also upgrade your mind-body-soul complex. Your mind upgrades from the reptilian brain in which you live, which is the home of the fight, flight, freeze response, to your midbrain and your higher divine mind. Your body upgrades from a pain body to a light body. Your soul upgrades from functioning from your trauma self, the false identity created by the ego, to your higher self. When your fascia is restricted, your life force energy is not fully awake nor able to flow through the 72,000 nadis, or energetic channels through which it flows. Your consciousness is stuck in a lower state of consciousness, one of victimhood and poverty consciousness. Your molecules are oxygen deprived. Your lymphatic system is clogged up. Your respiratory system is in full hyperventilation mode. Your nervous system is stuck in fight, flight, freeze. Your endocrine system is imbalanced. Your immune system is weakened or attacking yourself. Your circulatory system is recirculating the same toxins and impurities. Your reproductive system is infertile, not fully functional, and infiltrated with shame, pain, sin, and STDs.
My name is Meir, and looking back now over a month after my retreat, I wanted to film an introduction from this documentary and kind of share the reason behind why I chose to do what I did, what it really meant to me. So I grew up as a young kid in Israel, and what I felt looking back, of course I wasn't aware of it as a child, but I was very influenced with the religion kind of guided me to believe what spirituality meant, and what the society also kind of guided me to feel fear of my fellow brothers, Muslims and Arabs who were living, just by me, but we were so disconnected. Part of this healing that I chose to do was to recognize how the healing of myself was part of this bigger whole of the healing that needs to happen on Mother Earth between my people, Israelis and Jews and Muslim people who, it's heartbreaking to see what is happening in my country and what is being allowed to happen, and how the cycle of fear and hatred is continuing, because I know how much, and I believe that I have a lot to learn even more, but I feel how much Muslims are suffering, and I feel how much Israelis are suffering under this system, and nobody has any peace. It was my mission, to go into this healing with this intention that I'm not just healing for myself, I'm healing for this external war that we're currently seeing on play.
As we live in a society that seeks the quick fix, none of these sacred plant medicines can heal you or cure you. What they do is they reveal you to you.
Once upon a time, a long time ago, a tale tells that the natives of the Kashinawa tribe were very ill, and the shaman, Kambo, had used all of his knowledge of sacred medicines to heal his tribe. Yet nothing was working. Kambo entered the jungle and imbibed ayahuasca, only to receive an incredible vision, a vision of the giant monkey frog that lives in the trees of the Amazonian jungle, and how to use its medicine to facilitate the healing of his tribe, followed the instructions from his vision, and served his tribe, Kambo. Kambo is a shamanic healing ceremony that has been used by various indigenous tribes of the Amazon for centuries. The use of Kambo originated in the Amazon jungle by several groups of indigenous South American peoples. It was first discovered by the Western world in 1986 by Peter Gorman, an investigative journalist that had been spending time with a native tribe called the Matsus. Kambo, or sapo as some call it, was initially used as a medicine to aid the hunters of the tribe, giving them increased endurance, stamina, visual acuity, increased hearing ability, a reduced need for food and water, and to mask their human scent to better sneak up on animals. It was often used in conjunction with a snuff called nunu to bring them visions of where their next successful hunt would be. Physically, it was used to help the body heal from diseases, remedy snake bites, increase fertility, and fight off pathogenic microbes. Spiritually, it was used to remove Panama, or a dark cloud of energy in a person's energetic field. Despite some calling Kambo a poison, it is not a poison, nor is it toxic to the human body. The Kambo secretion contains over 120 scientifically studied peptides. These peptides are called bioactive and neuropeptides. They trigger a multitude of chemical reactions or an immune response in the human body. Bioactive peptides perform specific functions in the body, such as hormone-like tasks, or they support vital cellular processes. Some of these peptides have a potent effect on the gastrointestinal muscles, gastric and pancreatic secretions, blood circulation, and on the stimulation of the adrenal cortex and pituitary gland. Neuropeptides are small protein-like molecules that are used by neurons to communicate with one another. These neuronal signaling molecules are involved in a wide range of brain functions, including pain, reward, food intake, metabolism, reproduction, social behaviors, learning, and memory. While Kambo is not toxic to mammals, it is extremely toxic to bacteria, fungi, protozoa, viruses, and parasites, making it one of the most potent antibiotic, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, and anesthetic substances in the world. Recent studies have shown that Kambo is effective against drug-resistant strains of pathogenic microbes. These peptides found in Kambo provide a wide range of potential medical uses, including depression, addictions, infections, allergies, asthma, joint disorders, skin diseases, migraines, blood circulation problems, autoimmune diseases, infertility, AIDS, hepatitis, herpes, PTSD, chronic pain, anxiety, fatigue, imbalanced hormones, cancer, and brain diseases such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. As a testament to the medicinal properties of Kambo, there are over 70 Kambo patents lodged, mainly in the US, for synthetic versions of the Kambo secretion. This Kambo secretion has been known to assist the body in healing traumas, increasing the immune system by up to 300%, resetting cellular memory, eliminating parasites, fungi, bacteria, and infections, reducing inflammation, purifying the blood, awakening the body's life force, and restoring the nervous system back to a state of balance. Despite the extreme physical reaction, Kambo is actually a very safe procedure when served properly by a trained facilitator. Kambo is not hallucinogenic or psychoactive, but it is mind-expanding in a very unique way. There is a strong spiritual component to it, and you may experience enhanced clarity, emotional releases, insights, ahas, old memories surfacing, and divine synchronicities. My Kambo ceremony will last anywhere from 1.5 to 2.5 hours. However, the actual purging portion, which is the hardest part, only lasts for about 20 to 30 minutes. The number of Kambo ceremonies required will be largely dependent on what someone desires to heal, what their intention is for receiving Kambo. Traditionally, Kambo is most effective when served 3 times in a moon cycle or within 28 days. I serve Kambo 3 days in a row, which is what I call the Kambo Warrior Initiation. On the first day, you will heal either for your masculine or feminine lineage and the respective mother or father wound. On the second day, you'll heal for the opposite lineage and wound. And then on the third day, you'll heal your relationship with self. This is the hardest day of all because you have to meet and feel all the ways in which you do not unconditionally love you.
PTSD involves reliving the past in the present, affecting the entire human organism, not only the mind, but the body as well. As the mind recalls the original experience, the body produces the same responses as when the event occurred. And it is not something just reserved for military vets. People from all walks of life suffer with PTSD at various levels. Any experience that is traumatic and left unhealed leads to PTSD, whether that's birth trauma, feeling abandoned or rejected by your parents, a car accident, being bullied in school, losing a loved one, or any form of abuse, be it physical, mental, emotional, verbal, sexual, or even spiritual. Not every single person who has spent time in the armed services, whether military or protection services, suffer from some form of PTSD. Combat, however, is a major cause of PTSD. Imagine, if you will, being in the battlefield. Both your mind and body are being pushed beyond your normal limits. Triggers and bullets are flying. Guns are firing. Bombs are being dropped. Your brother in arms sitting next to you is injured. And to top it off, you're receiving orders to kill innocent men, women, and children. This is trauma, except you have no time to deal with this trauma, no way to process it, because you are in the heat of battle. Essentially, you have to shove it all down, suppress it. Every feeling, every emotion, you have to remain focused on the task at hand. So, shove down where? In your body. And until healed, these traumas will keep you stuck in a state of chronic fight, flight, or freeze. Hearing of fireworks can send you straight back into the battle zone, re-traumatizing you all over again. Smelling gunpowder can send you straight back into the battle zone, re-traumatizing you as well. Watching a war movie can re-traumatize you. This is the essence of PTSD. PTSD affects not just the mind, but the body. Sufferers often experience chronic muscle tension, digestive issues, immune system dysfunction, cardiovascular problems, problems sleeping, problems being in relationships, just problems functioning from day to day. Now imagine you're in a heavy combat zone doing this day in, day out, month after month. That's a lot of trauma. So what do you do when you return to your normal life? Well, you learn to cope with the suppressed trauma with any distraction you can find. Alcohol, sex, porn, violence, drugs, gambling, or any other high-risk behavior. So, what are your options to heal? Well, when you return home, your country may provide you with some form of pharmaceutical drugs to numb the symptoms you're experiencing, or in the form of talk therapy, which only deals with the way you experience the trauma. Neither options addresses where the trauma is stored in the body and how to truly heal it.
Squeeze it out, belly button. Sun, the rest of your legs.
Going through
What is your fear?
I got burned yesterday just visiting.
What is the fear of being burnt?
Well, I don't have fear of being burned. I actually had to
So then, what's the worst that will happen if your legs are in the sun for 20 minutes?
Let's do it.
Feminine hand today, masculine hand supporting your feminine hand as you receive the sacred medicine. Open the portal in the center of your palm. And slowly inhale the frequency of the sacred medicine up your arms, into your heart, down into your hara, up into your third eye. When you're at the top, push your belly button into the stone egg. Push down, swallow to quiet the fear. Push out more. Push all those stored frequencies. Belly button in. Squeeze your pelvic floor up and in. Inhale the frequency of the Rapeh up your arms, into your heart, down into your hara, up into your third eye. Keep inhaling and inflate your body like a balloon. Keep going, inflate more. Through your nose, push the energy down. Push your belly button into the stone egg. Hold, swallow. Can you relax here? Relax, hang on. Feel the fullness. When you exhale, pelvic floor squeeze. First belly button in, and then slowly exhale. A sacred offering of gratitude to your sacred medicine. Send it down your arms, through those portals in your hands, and into your Rapeh. Allow Rapeh to feel your frequency. Inhale gratitude for Mother Earth for giving birth to this sacred medicine, to recalibrate your body and mind. All those step frequencies you purged out with Kambo. Allow Rapeh to now allow you to toss those stories out attached to them that are stored in your mind. Squeeze out. Check in. Is your frequency one of gratitude, or is it one of force? Feel your frequency flowing through your mind and body. Inhale, gratitude for all of your ancestors, all of your mothers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, all the way back. Keep inhaling. Push your belly button into the stone egg. Meet your glass ceiling. Inhale more. Conquer it. Break through it. Swallow to quiet the fear. Conquering your ego. Keep pushing your belly button into the stone egg. Keep inhaling more. Squeeze your pelvic floor, belly button in first. Look down. Squeeze your throat. Sound out a sacred offering of gratitude. Sending it all the way back through all of your mothers. for all the pain your mother's walked on, Mother Earth's body imprinting her. And then inhale gratitude for you, for healing this wound that you're healing. Not just for you, but for all your mothers, for the collective, for Mother Earth, the Divine Mother, for all time, space, dimensions, realities, galaxies, universes, multiverses, and beyond. Belly button in. Pull that sound up from your hara. Pull it up. Frequency of gratitude. Keep squeezing. Keep sounding. And you're gonna hold. You're gonna hold. Lower your head. Check in. Can you relax in this position? When I serve you, find your masculine container. Find your peace and calm in the middle of the storm. Squeeze your pelvic floor. Hold. Keep holding. Keep holding. Keep holding. Squeeze it all out of your fascia. Squeeze the stone egg. Let your head go. Let it hang. Keep holding. Swallow it quietly. Rapeh is a shamanic snuff made of pure tobacco, ashes from sacred trees, and/or herbs. It can either be served to you or self-served by blowing it up your own nostrils. Being a masculine medicine, it instills the qualities of stillness and silence in your mind, thereby quieting the ego. It has numerous benefits. It cleanses your sinuses, heightens awareness of your body, synchronizes your left and right brain, decalcifies your pineal gland, opens your third eye, realigns your chakras, enhances clarity and focus, calms your nervous system, grounds your energy, detoxifies your lymphatic system, instills self-realization and purifies the body, mind, and energetic field of toxic vibrational frequencies, pathogenic microbes, and mucus. We serve Rapeh at the end of ceremonies as it bridges the connection between the mind and body. It facilitates the tossing out of the stories of trauma in the mind that are associated with the pain of trauma that was transmuted in the body during the ceremony.
Feel free to see who you are. Enjoy that water, brother. So by far the most life-changing experience of this healing journey that I've done in this retreat was my Bufo experience. I had no idea what to expect going in, except to just surrender to what is essentially feeling like you just died. And going through that death, I let go and understood so much of my ego from my life previously that really helped me understand that I never needed to hold all this pain inside of me, all this anger towards myself, all this self-rejection and disconnection. That was essentially what I feel is also connected to this documentary's theme, which is the healing between Israelis and Palestinians. So by feeling that, I felt that the highest truth of our consciousness is unity. We're all made up of the same energy. And if more people can experience that, then this earth can begin to heal, to shift, and to change. So that was by far the most transformational and mind-blowing experience in my life.
So I want to be fully honest. This retreat was probably one of the hardest things I've done in my life. I've gone through the military and I've challenged myself physically, but looking at myself with open eyes and seeing all of the pain and trauma was one of the hardest things for me to overcome. And this is something that I want to say, that healing isn't easy. So this is where I believe it takes courage and it takes self-love and dedication to be able to do the healing. And hopefully this message shows that it's more possible for you.
To all my Palestinian brothers, I want to take this opportunity to say that I'm sorry. As a kid, I was told to believe that you were my enemies, and I'm sure you were told the same. But owning up to what my people have done to yours is something that is freeing off of my heart. For all the things that are happening still currently, unfortunately, I want to apologize to you for what is happening. And I want to say that we can choose another way, and it begins with us. So let's take the responsibility into our own hands to end the hatred and end the suffering, because there's no need for it. I love each and every one of you, and I feel that there's nothing that should separate us anymore.
We hope you have enjoyed our documentary. We hope it speaks to your soul.
And if it does, we offer you a free ceremonial book reading once a month. This is our gift to humanity, because we didn't write Somatophobia for it to sell millions of copies and to make a lot of money. We wrote it as a self-healing manual from our experiences, our healing journey,
And our research.
and our research.
It's not regurgitated from somebody else. It's literally had been felt and written about.
We also offer a free womb kriya or hara kriya ceremony. Womb kriya ceremonies are every Saturday from 10 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern.
And for the men,
For women,
it's Hara Kriya,
first Sunday of every month.
first Sunday of every month.
Same time. And we offer these ceremonies for free simply because our work cannot be experienced just by hearing about it.
Or reading about it.
It has to be felt. So if you have any questions, if this documentary resonated with you, if anything in it spoke to your soul, please do not hesitate to reach out with questions.
And if you want to learn more about the self-healing practice, our book, Somatophobia, is available on Amazon, Fear of the Body. Please feel free to pick yourself up a copy. I will warn you, it is 660 pages, so it is a fairly large book because there was a lot of information on it. So thank you so very much, and please reach out if you have any questions at all.
Thank you.
Thank you.